Okay, so number one. So number one asks which line has a slope of 3/4. So let's go ahead and eliminate A and eliminate D, right? A, we got a vertical line. D, we have a horizontal line. So we're down to B and C. So let's look at B and C. I put points on B, okay? And if I get the rise over run, right, for B, it looks like the rise here is 1, 2, 3, 4. The rise is 4. The run is 3. This is 4 over 3. For C, if I get the rise over run, okay, the points being there, it looks like the rise is 3. Okay, 3 boxes, and then the run is 4 boxes. So that'd be 3 over 4. Okay, so it's always going to be rise over run. So it's option C. Alright, let's take a look at number 2. If you missed number 2, I want you to draw slope guy. Okay, so let's do a plus and a minus. Let's do the nose, a U under the nose, and the mouth with the dimples. Okay, so there's slope guy. So it wants an undefined slope. Undefined slope has a vertical line. Okay, so that's option A. Okay, alright, let's move on. Number 3, let me just double check to make sure I'm recording. Okay, so let's take a look at number 3. Alright, so number 3, I want you to write down this formula. The slope is y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. Alright, so let's label x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, y1 minus y2. So my slope is going to be 1 minus negative 4. x1 minus x2, negative 6 minus 4. Negative 1 minus a negative 4, 1 minus a negative 4, that's 1 plus 4, that's 5. Negative 6 minus 4, it's a negative 10. This is going to simplify to negative 1/2. So it's option D. Okay. Alright, number 4. What is the slope of the line that contains these 2 points? Okay, so we're going to use the same formula. M equals y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. Alright, so let's label this x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, alright, so let's go ahead and subtract here. y1 minus y2, that's a negative 2 minus a negative 2 over 13 minus 3. Notice the y's are exactly the same, right? So this is negative 2 plus 2. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. Okay, 0 divided by 10 is 0. Okay, 0 on top, then the slope is 0. 0 at the bottom will be undefined. Okay, let's take a look at number 5. A line has the equation 2y equals 3x plus 4. Find the slope of the line. So, we want the equation in y equals mx plus b form. Okay, so you missed this one. I want you at y equals mx plus b. And there's the slope. So notice you need the y to be solved for. We need the y to be solved for here. Okay, there's my equal sign. I need to get the y by itself. All I have to do is divide by 2. Okay, all I have to do is divide by 2, and I have to distribute here. Okay, so this would be y equals 3 over 2x. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay, so it looks like the slope then is 3 over 2. Okay, you got to get the y by itself, put it in slope-intercept form, and then you can clearly see the slope. Alright, let's take a look at number 6. Which is an equation of the line with a slope of 1/4 and a y-intercept of negative 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve. So again, I need y equals mx plus b. So if you missed this one, write y equals mx plus b. Right, you need to get the y by itself. And there's your slope. Okay, so none of these, the y is solved for. Okay, so I have to, one by one, solve for the y and find which one has a slope of 1/4 and a y-intercept of negative 2. So let's start with A. Okay, so here's A. X minus 4y equals 8. Alright, so there's my equal sign. I'm going to subtract the x, subtract the x. I have negative 4y equals negative x plus 8. Then I have to divide this by negative 4. And I have to distribute. Okay, so now the y is by itself. Negative 1 divided by negative 4, that's 1/4. X goes with it. And 8 divided by negative 4, that's a negative 2. Hey, look, the slope is 1/4. The y-intercept is negative 2. I stumbled upon it in the very first try with A. Okay. Alright, number 7. Which graph best represents the line y equals negative 1/5 x plus 2? Okay, so this is already in slope-intercept form. So first, let me look at the y-intercept. The y-intercept should be a positive 2. And it looks like all of these, the y-intercept is a positive 2. Okay, that didn't help me. Alright, the slope is negative. So left to right, the line should be going down. If you look at A, left to right, the line's going up. It's definitely not A. And also C, left to right, the line is going up. I want left to right, the line going down. The slope's negative. Okay, so the rise over run is 1/5. Okay, so if I get 2 points on B, right, there's my 1/5. Rise is 1, the run is 5, right? M equals negative 1/5. This one, for D, M equals, it would be 5/1. This is negative 5/1. Okay, I want the one that has a negative 1/5 and slope and y-intercept of 2. So it's option B. Okay. All right, let's take a look at number 8. Which graph best represents x minus y equals 3? So again, I want this in slope-intercept form. I need y equals mx plus b, and then I'll be able to match this, match the graph with the equation a little better. So x minus y equals 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and subtract the x, subtract the x. I have negative y equals negative x plus 3, and I have to divide by this negative 1, right? There's a negative 1 in there. Okay, so I'm going to divide, so let me put that negative 1 in there, so I'm going to divide everything by negative 1. Okay, and I have to distribute. Alright, so positive y equals negative 1 divided by negative 1 is positive 1. Positive 1x. 3 divided by negative 1 is a negative 3. So there's the equation I have to match up. So the y-intercept is negative 3. Okay, so if I look at that, right, once I saw this equation for y, to put it in y equals mx plus b, the y-intercept's negative 3. Look at A, the y-intercept's positive 3. Look at B, the y-intercept's also positive 3. Here in C and D, the y-intercept's a negative 3. The slope should be a positive. It should be a positive 1. Okay, so left to right, the line should be going up. So it's option C. D has a negative slope. Okay, so I couldn't tell right away where the y-intercept was and the slope is from this equation. I had to solve for y. Okay, get it into y equals mx plus b form. Okay, another thing you could have done is found the x and the y-intercepts. The x-intercept, look at the coefficient of x is 1. So set the y to 0. 3 divided by 1 is 3. And for the y-intercept, 3 divided by negative 1 is negative 3. Okay. Alright, let's go to number 9. Alright, number 9, let me refocus this. Identify the equation of the line graph. Okay, so let's go ahead and rewrite all of these in y-intercept form. So let's go ahead and look at A. Okay, so write x plus 2y equals negative 2. So again, I want y equals mx plus b. Okay, this is the slope, and b is the y-intercept. Okay, so there's A. Just copied it over. Alright, so let's put it in. Let's solve it for y and see if it matches this equation. So there's my equal sign. I'm going to subtract x on both sides. So I have 2y equals negative x minus 2, and then I divide by 2. Okay, so y is now solved for. Negative 1 divided by 2, that's negative 1 over 2x. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. So look at A. The y-intercept is negative 1, that matches. And the slope is negative 1 over 2, so down 1 and over 2. Down 1 and right 2. If I go down 1 and right 2, it lands on the line, right? The slope here is a negative 1/2. Right, left to right's going down, the rise over run is 1/2. And so it's A, right? So you don't have to test the others. You can if you want, but we hit it. We hit the right equation with A. All right, so let's go ahead and look at number 10. Identify the equation here. Okay, so again, let's go ahead and rewrite all of these in y equals mx plus b form. Okay, so here's A. Let's go ahead and rewrite A. So 4x plus 3y equals 6. Alright, so let's go ahead and solve for the right one here. Minus 4x minus 4x. So I get 3y equals negative 4x plus 6. Then I divide by 3. So I get y equals negative 4 over 3x plus 2. Right, 6 divided by 3 is 2. The y-intercept is 2. The slope here is negative. Look, the slope here is positive, so it's not A. Alright, now let's try B. Okay, alright, so B. 4x minus 3y equals negative 6. Alright, let's get the y by itself. Minus 4x minus 4x. Negative 3y equals negative 4x minus 6. Divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. So I get y equals negative 4 divided by negative 3. That's 4 over 3. X, negative 6 divided by negative 3 is a positive 2. Okay, so it looks like the y-intercept is a positive 2. And the slope is a 4 over 3, so let's count. And the slope is positive. Let's write the lines going up. Alright, so let's just count it to make sure it's the right one. So, rise is 4, run is 3. So, up 4, right 3. Let's see if it lands on the line. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. It doesn't land on the line, though. Okay, the slope of this line is not 4 over 3. The slope is... Let's go ahead and look to see what the slope would be. Looks like the rise is a 3 and the run is a 4. So we're looking for a slope of 3/4 and a y-intercept of 2. Okay, so we haven't found that in the first two equations. Let's go ahead and look at option C. Okay, so option C is 3x plus 4y equals 8. Okay, alright, so let's solve for y again. So there's the equal sign, minus 3x, minus 3x. So I get 4y equals negative 3x plus 8. Divide by 4, divide by 4. So y equals a negative 3 over 4x. 8 divided by 4 is 2. The y-intercept is 2, but look, the slope's negative. Right, our slope here is positive. So it should be D. Let's go ahead and check if D works. Okay, so I get 3x minus 4y equals negative 8. I'm going to subtract 3x. Negative 4y equals negative 3x minus 8. Divide by negative 4. Divide by negative 4. Okay, so I get y equals negative 3 divided by negative 4. That's 3 over 4x. Negative 8 divided by negative 4. That's a positive 2. Look, the slope is 3/4. The y-intercept is 2. D is the one that works. Okay, Alright, so go ahead and go on to the next one. Identify the X and Y-intercepts. Okay, so for the X-intercept, the Y equals 0. Okay, so let's go ahead and write that X-intercept, Y equals 0. So for this equation, for the X-intercept, I get 10x plus 4 times 0 equals negative 20. Okay, 4 times 0 is 0. So I get 10x equals negative 20. Divide by 10, divide by 10, x equals a negative 2. There's the x-intercept at negative 2. Now let's do the y-intercept. The y-intercept, x equals 0. Okay, for the y-intercept, x equals 0. So 10 times 0 plus 4y equals negative 20. So 10 times 0 is just 0. So I get 4y equals negative 20. Divide by 4, divide by 4, y equals a negative 5. Alright, so the x-intercept's a negative 2. The y-intercept's a negative 5. Looks like it's option C. Okay, so option C is what I want there. Okay, alright, number 12. Which line has an x-intercept of negative 1 and a y-intercept of positive 1? Okay, so for this one, this line goes through the origin. Okay, for that first option, the slope's negative 1 and it touches at the origin. Okay, so the x-intercept and the y-intercept are both 0. Okay, so this is not it. We want one where the x-intercept is negative 1 and the y-intercept is positive 1. Okay, alright, so let's try option B then. Alright, so this, we'll say this is A, this is B, this is C, and this is D. So let's try option B. Alright, so for option B, for the x-intercept, okay, where this is where y equals 0 for the x-intercept. So option B for the x-intercept. So y equals 0. So I have 1x minus 0 equals 1. Okay, well, minus 0, so I just have 1x equals 1. So divide by 1, divide by 1. Alright, the x-intercept does equal, the x-intercept ends up being a positive 1. I want an x-intercept of negative 1. Okay, so it's not option B. So let's try option C. Okay, so again, the x-intercept, y equals 0. Alright, let's try option C now. Alright, so 1x minus 0 equals negative 1. Okay, so minus 0 I can ignore because it's minus 0. 1x equals negative 1. If I divide by 1, divide by 1, x equals negative 1. So for option C, the x-intercept does equal negative 1. Alright, let's do the y-intercept then. For the y-intercept, x equals 0. Okay, so the y-intercept, x equals 0, so I have 0 minus 1y equals negative 1. So I have negative 1y equals negative 1. Divide both sides by negative 1. Y equals a positive 1. Okay, so the x-intercept is negative 1. The y-intercept is a positive 1. Option C is the one that I want. Okay, alright, so let's go on to number 13. Alright, so which line has a y-intercept of 5? So for the y-intercept, this is right, B, that's the B, in y equals mx plus b. So if you missed this one, write y equals mx plus b. So there is the y-intercept. Okay. Alright, so look at that first option here. So we'll label this A, B, C, and D. Alright, for the first one, the y-intercept, look, it's already in y-intercept form. The y is solved for. the y-intercept here is -1, right? I want a y-intercept of 5. It's obviously not that one. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at option B. X minus 3y equals 15. Alright, let's solve for y. Let's get the y by itself. Minus x, negative 3y equals negative x plus 15. And divide by negative 3. Divide by negative 3. Okay, so I get y equals -1 divided by -3. That's 1/3 x. 15 divided by -3. That's a -5. The y-intercept here is -5. I want a y-intercept of +5. Okay, so it's not B. Let's look at C. 4x minus 8y equals -40. Alright, let's get the y by itself. Minus 4x, negative 8y equals -4x minus 40. Divide by -8. Divide by -8. Alright, so y equals -4 divided by -8. That's -1/2, or it's a +1/2, right? -4 divided by -8, 4/8. So it's 1/2 x. And -40 divided by -8, hey, there's your +5. There's your y-intercept. It's +5. Okay, so the third option is what you want, option C. Okay. Alright, number 14. Choose the graph for y equals -2. Okay. Alright, y equals, it's a vertical line, so if you missed this one, I want you to write y equals, this is a vertical line. Right? X equals is horizontal line. I'm sorry. Y equals is a horizontal line. Y equals is a horizontal line. Okay, y equals is a horizontal line. Okay, so the only horizontal line there is B. Okay, another thing I want you to notice is that there's no x. Okay, so the slope here, right, is 0. It's y equals 0x minus 2. There's no x, so just y equals just a constant. So it's going to be a horizontal line. And look at option B. Option B is the only one where it touches the y-axis, right? Anything along this line here, y is -2, right? What's this point? 1, -2. What's this point here? 2, -2. 3, -2. You know, anywhere along here, the y is -2. Anyway, so that's why it's option B. Y equals, you have a horizontal line. X equals, you have a vertical line. Okay? Or however you want to do it. Alright, so number 15, what is the slope for x equals -5? Well, x equals -5, so this is a vertical line. Right, x equals vertical line. Right, there's your x, there's your y. If you missed this, let's go ahead and draw this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, there's your line. Right, there's your vertical line. It touches the x-axis at -5. What's the slope? I also want you to draw slope guy. Okay, for a vertical line, the slope is undefined. Okay. Alright, number 16. Choose the equation of the line that passes through 2, -1, and has a slope of -3. Okay, so the slope is -3. Let's look at these equations. Y equals mx plus b. Oh, well, they all have a slope of -3. Okay, alright, so we can't eliminate anything there. Okay, so let's go ahead and put it into y equals mx plus b, and let's find the b. Okay, alright, so let's find the b. Here's our x, here's our y. Y equals mx plus b. Y is -1 equals, the slope is -3. X is 2. Alright, now we can find out our b. Okay, so I have -6 plus b equals -1. I'm going to add 6 to both sides. It looks like b equals a positive 5. So I want y equals -3x plus 5. Okay. Alright, number 17. Write the equation of a line that passes through -4, 9 and has a slope of 1/2. So again, same situation as above. All the slopes are 1/2. We just need to find the correct y-intercepts. Okay, so I have here x, y. Alright, so let's find the y-intercept. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, so y is -9. The slope is 1/2. And then the x is -4. Okay, alright, so let's find out what the b should be. I have 1/2 times -4, that's -2 plus b equals -9. And then I have to solve for b, so let's go ahead and add the 2 to both sides. So I get b equals -9 plus 2, that's -7. So slope should be 1/2, the y-intercept's -7. So the only one of the equations that has that is option A. Okay. Alright, let's go on to number 18. Alright, so for 18, what is the equation of a line that passes through -4, 3, and 2, -6? Okay, so first, here are the equations to choose from. So they're all y equals mx plus b equations. Okay, so let's find the slope of this first. Okay, so let's find the slope. So here, x1, y1, x2, y2. So first, for the slope, it's y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. Okay, so let's go ahead and plug that in. M equals 3 minus -6, and then -4 minus 2. -4 minus 2. Okay, so it looks like this is 9. That's 3 plus 6, right? Minus a negative, so it's 9 over. -4 minus 2 is -6. So it looks like it's going to be -3 over 2. So our slope is -3 over 2. So let's cross out option C and option D. We're down to A and B. Okay. Alright, so now let's find out if our slope's a positive 3 or a -3. Looks like that's what we're deciding upon. So you can choose either of these 2 points. It doesn't matter which one you choose. Okay. I'm going to choose -4 and 3. That's going to be my x and y. And here's my m. Okay. Alright, so y equals mx plus b. Alright, so I'm going to use this one right here. So y is 3. So I have a 3 equals, my slope is -3 over 2. My x is a -4 plus b. Okay, so let's make this a -4 over 1. So what I have here is 12 over 2, which is 6. -3 times -4 is positive 12. 2 times 1 is 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Okay, so I have 3 equals 6 plus b. And then I'm going to subtract 6 on both sides. b equals 3 minus 6. That's a -3. Alright, number 19. A line has the equation of 4x plus y equals 5. Which line is parallel to this line? Okay, so I want this in y equals mx plus b form so I know what the slope is. Okay, so let's solve this for y. So I'm going to minus 4x on both sides. Right, there's my equal sign. So I have y equals -4x plus 5. Parallel, so I want the same slope. Right, so there's the m. I want a line that has a slope of a -4. The only one that has a slope of -4 is the second option. Okay. Okay, so number 20, which equation represents a line parallel to the y-axis? Okay, so if I draw my x and y, if a line is parallel to the y-axis, okay, it's going to be a vertical line. It's going to be an x equals equation. Okay, it's going to be an x equal and a single number. Well, there's x equals 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's x equals 4, right? You have a vertical line. Okay, it's parallel to the y-axis. Okay, all right. Number 21. Which of the following lines is perpendicular to y equals negative 3/5 x plus 1? So perpendicular, we want a slope then of positive 5/3. We want this slope. Okay, positive 5/3. So let's go ahead and go through these options. Okay, so first let's do option A. All right, let's solve for y and see what we get for option A if we get a slope of 5/3. Okay, so I have 3x plus 5y equals 10. Alright, so minus 3x, minus 3x. So I get 5y equals negative 3x plus 10. And then I divide by 5. Okay, so I get y equals negative 3/5x plus 2. I want 5/3, so it's not option A. Okay, alright, let's do option B. Okay, so I get 3x minus 5y equals 20. Alright, so let's subtract 3x, subtract 3x. Negative 5y equals negative 3x plus 20. Divide by 5. I get y equals negative 3/5x plus 4. Okay, again, I want a positive 5/3. It's not it. So let's do option C. Scoot up a little bit. So option C, 5x plus 3y equals 21. Alright, let's solve for y. Subtract 5x on both sides, so I get 3y equals negative 5x plus 21. Divide by 3. I don't think this is going to be it either. Y equals negative 5/3 plus 7. Again, I want a positive 5/3. I got negative 5/3. Alright, let's hope it's option D. 5x minus 3y equals 27. Alright, let's solve for y and see if we get the slope as 5/3. Minus 5x minus 5x. Get negative 3y equals negative 5x plus 27. Divide by negative 3. Divide by negative 3. Y equals, hey, a negative 5 divided by a negative 3. That's a positive 5/3x. And then 27 divided by negative 3 is negative 9. But there's the 5/3 slope that I want. Okay, that's the one I want. It's option D. Okay, alright, number 22. What is the equation of the line that passes through 3, negative 1 and is perpendicular to this equation? Okay, so this equation has a slope of negative 3/1. It's perpendicular, so the slope that I'm going to use is positive 1/3. Okay, so it looks like all of these equations are in y equals mx plus b form. Okay, so I know the slope has to be 1/3. Okay, so it looks like it's option C or D. It's not A and it's not B. Okay, alright, so let's find out our B. Is it going to be 0 or is it going to be negative 2? Okay, so here's x and here's y. Let's plug it into y equals mx plus b. Alright, y is negative 1. The slope is 1/3. X is 3. Okay, 3. And then we're looking for the b. 3, same as 3/1. Okay, So 1/3 times 3 over 1, that's 1. Right, it's 3 over 3, that's 1. Okay? Negative 1. Okay, alright, solve for b. I'm going to subtract 1 on both sides. b equals negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. So it's option D. Okay. Alright, let's keep going. Number 23. Alright, so for 23. So this is one where you're going to have to use Desmos calculator. Okay, so Marcia recorded the time it took for 6 children different ages to run 1 lap around the track using a line of best fit. Okay, so a line of best fit, right? You're given a table. You want to find a line of best fit, best ways for the use the calculator, which is the closest length of time it would take Martha's 8-year-old son to run 1 lap. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple things. Maybe we can eliminate some answers. So for 8 years old, 8 years old is between 6 and 10, right? So it should be between 132 and 205. Okay, so if she's 8 years old, it should be between these two numbers for the time. 125 is not between 132 and 205, so let's cross out this one, right? For an 8-year-old, it would be between that. And then the other one that I can cross out is 211. It's not between 132 and 205. Okay, so it's one of these two. Okay, so let's go ahead and figure out which one it is. All right, so I'm gonna pull up Desmos calculator here. It's a little shorter, and let's pull up Desmos, and I have these put in. Okay, so let me pull this up. Okay, so I put these into the table. Okay, and then in number 2 here, right, I put in y equals mx plus b. Okay, so there's my m and my b that it gives me right there. Okay, my m and my b. Okay, and if I look, let's go ahead and make it. Let's make it fit. Oh, there's my line of best fit. Okay, okay, so I don't need this. Okay, so I just need the m and the b. All right, so let me put this back up. All right, so for my m and my b, for y equals mx plus b. All right, so here is, let me use my cursor. Here's my m. Okay. All right, so y equals negative 12.555. And then the b is 276.52 plus 276.52. Okay, and the age is x, the time is y. So I want to know for an 8-year-old. So I'm going to put 8 into here. Okay, so negative 12.55 times 8 plus 276.52. So I'm going to just pull up a calculator right here. I'm just going to pull up a handheld calculator. So I have negative 12.55 times 8, right, plus 276.52. I get 176 seconds. 0.12, right? But closest thing is right here. So this y equals 176 seconds. Okay. Number 24. Let's go ahead and look at 24. So for number 24, which scatter plot is most likely to represent y equals 3x plus 1? Well, the slope is a positive 3. Okay, so left to right, the line should be going up. You look at B, if I draw my line of best fit, it's going down. It's not B, and also line D, it's also going down, right? So it's not, so we're down to A and C. right? We need a line that's left to right going up. Okay, so this is 3 over 1. The rise should be bigger than the run, right? Because the rise is 3, the run is 1. So here on this one's more vertical, right? This one looks like it's closer to 3 over 1. This one looks like it's more 1 over 3. Okay, so option C, right? So the slope here is about 3 over 1. The slope on this one is about 1 over 3. Okay, the rise should be bigger. This one's more vertical, so the rise is bigger on C. Okay, so it's option C. Alright, let's take a look at the next one. Another table. Alright, so for this one, it says approximate population for Virginia for 5 years. If the trend continues, what should be a reasonable projection for the population of 2018? Alright, so again, it gives me a table. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Desmos, and I've put this in. So let me pull it up. And the thing you need to remember about this one is that if you're given a year like this, right, you need to make that lowest year, you need to make that a 0 or a 1. Well, we have 2000, so I'm just going to make x be 0, 4, 6, 7, and 8. If you make x be 2000, 2004, that's going to skew the y-intercept. Okay, so here is me putting the table in. Again, the x's are 0, 4, 6, 7, and 8, not 2000, 2004, 2006, so on and so forth. Okay. All right. So, and again, let's go ahead and look. There's our line of best fit. There are points with the line of best fit drawn through them. Okay. I'm gonna pull this back up. So my values that I need are here, M and B. So I'm going to get it from there. I'm going to round it to 2 decimal places. Alright, so y equals mx plus b. So y equals, the m is 0.0. If it looks like this, I'm going to go ahead and round it to 3 decimal places. Oh, yeah, let's just round it to 2 and see what happens. 2018. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to round it to 2 decimal places and see if the number comes up here. If not, then we'll do 3 decimal places, okay? All right, so the slope is 0.0, let's say 0.09x plus, and then the y-intercept is 7.09, so we're going to round it to 7.10. 7.10. Okay. All right. So in 2018, x equals 8. I'm sorry. X equals 18. Okay. X equals 18. So let's go ahead and put in 18 and see what we get. Y equals 0.09 times 18 plus 7.10. All right. So I'm gonna plug that into the calculator. Clear 0.09 times 18 plus 7.1. Okay, I get 8.72. Oh, and 8.72. There it is. Okay, 8.72. Okay, so I'm going to circle that. So 8.72 million. Y equals 8.72. Okay. All right, number 26. You go snowboarding this weekend in Pennsylvania. The resort charges $15.75 per hour in addition to a $25 deposit to rent the snowboard. You want to rent the snowboard between 8:30 and 12:30. What would be your total cost? Okay, so let's go ahead and find. Let's find out. Here's your slope right here. Okay, there's your M. And right away you have to pay a $25 deposit. So there's your M and there's your B. There's your M and there's your B. Remember the B, the Y-intercept, that's also the initial charge. So the initial charge at time 0, you have to pay $25 right away. Okay. It looks like from 8:30 to 12:30, 8 to 12, right? That's 4 hours. Okay. All right. So your equation is y equals 15.75x plus 25. Okay. And here, x equals 4. That's 4 hours. Okay. So what would your total cost be? I'm just going to put in a 4 here. So 15.75 times 4 plus 25. That should give me my total cost. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to just plug this into the calculator also. Alright, so I'm going to clear this. 15.75 times 4 plus 25, and it gives me $88. Okay. You had to pay $25 right away. In addition to, you rented 4 hours for $15.75 per hour. Right, so $88 is your total cost. All right, last question, number 27. Malik went bowling. It cost $4.95 per game. So there's your slope. Okay, plus a one-time fee to rent shoes. Malik paid 5 games and paid a total of $32. What was the fee to rent the shoes? Okay, so before you played any game, you had to pay the amount to rent the shoes. So you had an initial charge. It's asking for the initial charge. Okay. All right. So at 5 games, he had to pay $32. Right. There's your X and there's your Y. Your M is $4.95. Now you're looking for the initial charge. You're looking for B. What was the fee to rent the shoes? Okay. All right. Because before you play any games, you had to pay that fee. Okay. All right. So Y equals MX plus B. Let's go ahead and find. Let's find the B. All right. So here's your Y equals MX plus B. So Y is 32. The M is 495. The X is 5. And let's figure out what the B is. So first we're going to do 495 times 5. Okay, so I'm going to clear this. 495 times 5, and that gives me $24.75. And he paid a total of $32. Okay. And let's go ahead and subtract $24.75. Alright, so I get the B equaling 32 minus 24.75. 32 minus 24.75, and that gives me $7.25. That's what he had to pay in the beginning for the shoes.